you know, I'm like hashtag eek. Hashtag eek. I'm all giddy about it. I'm putting that on all my stuff, like hashtag eek. So excited. This book is so good. If you have any questions about the book, let me know, because I love talking about it. So you're so sweet. Hashtag thank you. And I love giggling too, so thank you. You're gonna make me giggle. But I'm really excited because this book is it's very empowering. And you know what? This is something else you need to know. My girl is a Spelman grad. Like, I got Spelman grads all over, but she is a Spelman grad. Seraphina went to Spelman, was in the dual degree engineering program at Georgia Tech, got a PhD at UCLA. You see, I'm talking like she's a real person, like, girl, class of 98. No, I'm just like, she in class of 98. I'd have to think, if she's 44, what is that? Like, class of 2002? Like, let's just make her class of 2002, girl. We doing this. So, I love it. I love it. But yes, she is a Spelman grad. She talks about sisterhood too. You know what? You got me up here like talking for real. So I appreciate this. But there's a chapter in the book where she also mentions sisterhood. She talks about academia and how it is not like the sisterhood that she knew at Spelman. So, you know, I'm up here trying to bring in my HBCU connection. I talked about the Oval and some things that she thought about with that. And how she just expected as a Black woman to just be treated better. So just know I dug into Spelman for real. So thank you for reminding that. Yes, come on. You know what? It's spicy too. That's another thing. Like, I'm like, look, I'm a Christian, but there's a little bit of cussing and stuff in it too. So for folks that are a little prudish, but you know what? I feel like I'm a little undercover comedian sometimes, because I'll be like, y'all be looking at Tyler Perry stuff. You know, Tyler Perry be doing all types of stuff. He went from Diary of a Mad Black Woman, and it was like everything was kind of holy and borderline. Child, Tyler got free too. They be saying all types of stuff, but I don't be saying all that. But they do hump and bump. They love each other. It's real Black love. So, you know, this for grown folks. So, just want you to know that too. See, we have a whole conversation about that. Tyler Perry was just like, I gotta bring in the church folk with the fine men and the bad wigs, and then all of a sudden they up here just doing too much. They too grown, like stuff that, let me tell you something, you got me going when I should be promoting my stuff, but I'm still gonna promote it. They were doing stuff, I was like, I'm too young for that, and I was in my 40s, baby, 40s, and I was like, I don't even know what that is. What are these people doing? It's a girl. It's a whole different level of that Tyler. I guess, you know, we get that billionaire status, and you know, that's what happened. And then some people will say that I'm compromising too. Child, I love the Lord. I do love the Lord. But let me tell you something. My girl was free. And I'm going to tell you something. You got me thinking about characters and books. I had to be delivered. Somebody told me this one time. You know what? I have my life and I have lived my life, but my characters have their lives too. And baby, they gotta live their life that they need to. They up here living their best life, being free and doing stuff. And you know what? If you understand like the sisterhood, if you understand Spelman, you understand Morehouse, etc. You know, people living what they want to live. They living how they need to live. And we cannot judge. I'm just here to tell the stories that my characters want to tell. And baby, my girl was free. Free-spirited. She had her little man. She was 40-something. And I tell people this. She had her little man at the little hotel across town. And she lived her best life. Let me just say that too. And there's nothing wrong with that. So we got to stop judging. That's all I got to say. I had to stop judging. Let me get back to this. I'm up here trying to promote. Let me know if you have any questions though. Seriously, any questions about the book? You know, whatever you're thinking. Hey, Tebby Savvy School Psych. That's a lot of words. Hey, Tech Savvy School Psych. If you're still there. Key Live Vibes. Hello. I'm about to put this on LinkedIn, y'all. Yes, people are like, am I going to talk about this romance novel on LinkedIn? Yes, I am. I'm going to send it to my 9,500 subscribers on LinkedIn. Yes, I am. they go get this link for the weekend or for the holiday, whatever holiday you celebrate. Enjoy. It's Friday. Download that book and read my book. Read my book, y'all. Read my book. So let me get this together. And I'm here, like I said, if y'all want to ask me some questions. Look, why you distracted me from my work? Why you like that bad kid at school? You up here tapping on my shoulder. You know I'm supposed to be getting my work done. I'm just playing. But then I'm the one doing the live, right? So that doesn't make any sense. Like, you just messed me up. It's your fault. I make myself laugh. Child, isn't it though? Because let me tell you something. My girl, I'm gonna tap it up. My girl is very free-spirited, and she also leans, let me say, she voted for Kamala Harris. Like, if you know, it's like, what is our political persuasion? She was one of them 90-something%, 92% black women. And my dude, the main character in this book, is a billionaire who is a Heisman Trophy winner, a former Heisman Trophy winner. So he's 47. He's a Rhodes Scholar, really smart, an engineer. He is very conservative. He's like, women belong in the kitchen. I got to do what I need to do. There are certain ways that women behave, certain ways they move, and I don't want any of that. So because he is a tech person, he relies on science. So he has a watch, and it calculates compatibility. So he just keeps testing, you know, trying to find his perfect woman. But little does Mr. Know-it-all up in his face, Gabriel, and everybody's business trying to control women, know that Seraphina, the one who's loud, the one who is about social justice, the one who's calling people out, like his watch, his little watch is telling him, ding, 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 y'all got some magic going on. So that's what this book is about. Calculated Love. I would say, yeah, check out the link. There's a link tree in my bio. So go to the author link, and that book is in the author link. So if you can't find it on Amazon, go to my link, click on check out my books, and you'll see Calculated Love. I updated it like an hour ago. So it's like new release, Calculated Love. Boom, download it. It is, the ebook's there. It's $4.99. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can just read it. I was rereading it this morning. Child, I've read that book so many times. Let me tell you something. This is me being dramatic. This is the author. Like, am I Dr. Monica Cox or am I author Monica Cox? Y'all, let me tell you about this book. It's almost 70,000 words. This book is almost 70,000 words. So, can you imagine? Okay, you write the book. This is like an author thing. I'm gonna put on my author hat real quick and tell you this. You write the book, and then you have to edit the book, and then you're reading the book again, and then you're like getting editor reviews, and then you're reading the book again. Y'all, this book is like 70,000 words. It's like 100, I want to say like it was 135 pages. So I've read this book. Like I said, I wrote the book, but then I read the book, and I kept reading the book, and I kept reading the book. And so when I tell you this book is like in my brain, that is what it is like to be an author. It is just writing and writing and writing and writing and reading and reading, to the point that you sometimes don't even see the words. It's like I probably have errors in the book, unfortunately, because I've read the book so many times. So when I tell you, y'all, this is what's up. This book, I love it though. Gosh, can you just love a book? I mean, I feel like we can go over to my author page and talk about this, but I love my characters. Like, I wake up in the morning, like when I was writing this book, they would talk to me. They're like, this is what I want to say. And people are like, what does that mean? What is that? That's so weird. It's not, because they have personalities. You like really hash them out. You see them, and it's like Seraphina is sassy, and this is how she talks, and this is how she thinks, and this is how she moves. And so that's its own thing. And then, you know, with Gabriel, that's another thing. Like when you have a male character, or it could be any gender, but like your for me, it was my female main character and my male main character. And it's like you have to think about the characters as individuals, but then it's like, how does this person talk? How do they talk to their best friend? How do they talk to their parent? How do they talk to their sibling? How do they talk to their employees, their assistant? How do they talk to, you know, all these people? Because Gabriel has an assistant named Miguel, who is very meticulous, like Gabe, but Seraphina has an assistant, Hattie, who is like a big sister to her. So the way they talk is very different, and you just have to kind of think, and then you take on the personality of Hattie, you take on the personality of Miguel. I take on the personality of the friend Marlene. I take on the personality of, like, who else do I have? The dad, Creighton. That's his name, Creighton Jacobs. And, you know, what's it like to be an old man who's from the South? And so, you know, Gabriel is from the Midwest. Seraphina is from Alabama. And, of course, I understand Alabama, and I live in the Midwest. So it's very much understanding the culture, the dialogue. You know, as Seraphina is from the South, she says y'all every once in a while, and she has this little twang that is similar to what I'm doing right now. When you get lazy, when you get tired, you know, the singy, the aria, like, I call it like the little aria. It's there. You start dragging, you start drawling a little bit, versus like the Midwest characteristics, which I find to be very neutral. You know, it's like, where are you from? What does that look like? And so you have to think about that. Another aspect of the book that I love talking about is the age. You know, oh yes, I'm gonna tell you about that. They're in their 40s, so Seraphina's 44 and 47, so you also have to think about the mindset of people who are that age. I'm not gonna write like they're 22 years old. They are in Columbus, Ohio. That's a whole different conversation, because people be like, Columbus is not sexy. Like, you read a lot of books and you see a lot of shows that are in Atlanta, for example, or LA, New York, and it's like, what is it like to be in Columbus, Ohio? One, I wrote about Columbus because that's what I know. I've lived here a long time. It is a metro, of course, a metro city. I think it's like the 14th largest metropolitan city in the country. And it's funny because it's very neutral. So you don't hear anything that's just like, it's really like politically conservative, or it's really liberal. It is like middle ground, and I feel like as an author that is just a neutral place to be. So that's one reason I thought about Columbus. Another is that a lot of my people are transplant. So, you know, I'm from Alabama. I love Alabama. And it's so funny because as an adult, I realize I love Alabama. I have not lived in Alabama since I was 18 years old. But I'm like, dog, why do I love it so much? Like, that is forever my home. And there's just something about the Southern way. And see, that's the thing, the type of city. I grew up in the country. So country Alabama is very different from metropolitan Alabama. That doesn't even sound right. Metropolitan Alabama, is that real? You know, big city like Birmingham, Huntsville, etc. But I've worked in Huntsville. I've worked outside Birmingham. You know, I've lived in Atlanta. I've lived in Nashville. I've lived in state capitals. You know, I'm in another capital. I've lived in 3 state capitals in the U.S. And so I kind of see those perspectives. So Columbus, that was a long answer. That's why my book is like a 200-something pages, because it'll be like, we just go on and on and on and on and on. But yes, they're in Columbus, Ohio. But like I said, I was saying earlier, they're also older. So 40 something. You got me talking, because what is it like to write about 40-year-old people? 40-year-old people, and you know what? I'm also like an older mom, and I think that I can connect it to that as well, where it's just like, you just don't care about stuff as much. My characters, you know, all this like, oh my gosh, we're going to argue all day about food. We're not, because I don't have time for that. Like, we up here talking about grown folks. We up here trying to keep parents alive. We up here trying to keep kids alive. We up here trying to like stay alive ourselves. I don't have time for foolishness. That is just not in my DNA. And I think you see that with, you see that, excuse me, with my characters. Like, we keep it moving. We don't have good communication skills. Ooh, I didn't like that. Okay. Move on. I got something to do. Move on. I mean, that's life. And that's just my approach, like, as an author. My publisher says that I'm a mature writer. And some other people say, like, my work is like a breath of fresh air. And I appreciate that, because I just write what I know. You know, I write about this book. The triggers in this book are, I tell people, it's racism and workplace trauma. Like, I really talk about social justice. We talk about black, white, we talk about real issues that are happening in this country right now, real issues that are causing drama and trauma and distress. The views that people have behind closed doors. Like, I really work through Gabriel to talk about affirmative action, to talk about the views that people have of, you know, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and who has a right to resources or who doesn't have a right. And what you'll see in this book is like really breaking down different kinds of black people. And I think so often it's very taboo for us to like air dirty laundry. And I think, you know, there's this quote from Zora Neale Hurston where she talks about like all skin folk aren't kinfolk. And I feel like that's a quote that applies here, where you have a dude who, you know, wants to erect a building to honor one black woman, but there are a lot of black people who are tearing down another black woman to get access to that because of this deficit mentality, and really thinking, you know, if I silence her, then we're going to get, you know, what we need for this building. So it's a lot. It's a little controversial, I think, and that it just shows how everyone is not bold about social justice. Everybody's not on the same page. You know, some people are really caught up in their homes, or caught up in their resources, and they're like, I can't put myself out there to support other people because I've got to look out for me. And so that's one of the big themes that you're going to see in this book. And someone said it's very layered. You know, I also talk about caregiving because I've been involved in that. Both of my parents are no longer with me, and it's grief. I feel like every book that I have somehow has some element of grief because I am using these books to also process my own grief. So you will see that as well. I was talking to a friend today about this book, and I said, you know what? If you look at it, it just seems like my girl is very depressing. Like, the things that go on, you're like, you got bad stuff happening at work. You're trying to take care of your dad who is terminally ill. Your mom has already passed, you know, years ago. You're an only child, so when your dad leaves, it's going to be you. You know, you're trying to figure stuff out. You're single, and you're dealing with, you know, foolishness with dating. So, I mean, it looks like her life should be awful, but I feel like, I also tell people, I write about up and out people. And I had an advisor years ago who talked about that. So often, you know, we focus on the down and out, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that that is what we are called to do. But when you see people who seem to have their lives together and they just struggle, they have stories as well. You know, the ones who have the paychecks, they have the homes. Yes, they have, you know, they did the right things. They went to the right schools. They got the degrees. Yet something is still off, and they have to deal with stuff. And that's one thing I learned, you know, at Spelman. I've talked to people about this all the time. You know, Spelman was beautiful. It was like this utopia in a way. You know, but when you get out, everyone's not thinking that a black woman can lead. Everyone's not thinking that a black woman deserves to have a seat at the table. They don't think that this person worked really hard to be in a position of power and deserves to really operate from that place. That is not how it happens many times. And so this story is the story of a woman who was young, you know, a young leader at an institution, but she fought hard for that position. She fought hard to prove herself every day, and she was harmed. She was slaughtered, you know, and I can relate. So that's why, I don't know if you're with me at the beginning, but I said this book, I think I said this, I don't know if I did or not, I'll just say it now. I cried so much writing this book. I cried today. I cried yesterday. I talked to one of my friends, and she's like, every time you talk about this book, you're crying. I am. I do cry about this book a lot, y'all. I cry about this book because I see myself in Seraphina. You know, I pulled from something that was in me that was very deep, that was dormant. And when I read the story, it still feels like it's not real. Like there are just things. Like, I talked to someone, I'm gonna be very transparent when I say this part. I talked to my therapist, and she said, I always talk about this story in terms of Seraphina, when there are some things that are me. And I think it's because I can't yet talk about me. I have to talk about it as Seraphina. And y'all, that's a lot. That's a lot to process. It's a lot to process. So, you know what? I said, and I'm going to read something before I go, because I told y'all I'm supposed to be up here promoting this book, y'all. Let me get my life together. But you know what? The book is done. But I'm going to read this. I'm going to read a part to y'all that I think is really important. Because in my book, I always have like a preface, and then I have like from the author. And for this book, hold just one moment. I'm on the phone, old school, like, hold a moment. I said, I'm going to read the preface part first, because this is not just a novel. It's just not about humping and bumping, but this is a real story that I think a lot of people face. And I said, like, most of my characters, Dr. Seraphina Jacobs and Gabriel Fauntleroy, are unapologetically grown and sexy with strong opinions and ways of viewing the world. At a time when so many people are focusing and fighting about their differences, I hope Seraphina and Gabriel remind you to identify what unifies all of us. This is a story about pushing against the status quo and standing up for what you believe in, even if what you are saying is not popular. If you can relate to this, I wish you continued strength on your journey. You are not alone. And at the end, I really thought about Black women. And I said, at the time of this writing, I am disappointed that countless Black women have endured workplace harm, but nothing has been done to address their grievances or restore them. Beautiful, brilliant women, are often brought into spaces to be lynched at work and are expected to pick up the pieces of their lives as best they can. It's unjust and sad. One day, I hope laws and workplaces will become safe havens instead of slaughterhouses for marginalized people who trust work rules to be real but aren't. I hope that this novel offers hope to those who haven't been heard. Your voice and story matter, and you deserve to be free and joyous in this lifetime. That's what's up. That's what's up with this. So, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, please check out this book. It's a romance, and like I said, there are some things that may be offensive, like some of the words I use. Some of the words that Seraphina uses may be a little offensive to people, but it's how she felt. Like I said, I am a very detailed person in certain ways. So, disclaimer for the romance. They're intimate. We go into the room with them. We are there. We are in their business. We are a camera in the rooms, in the home. And as one of my friends says, and this will probably make you laugh because I didn't think about it, like with levels of spice. Somebody said my spice is like three peppers out of three. And I think, it's important to have like multiple perspectives as well when it comes to that. So like I said, 3 peppers out of 3. My friend said I'm not really like doing the noises as much. Like, you see what's up. And I would say like my romance is very intimate. Intimate. So, well, that's what's up, y'all. Anyway, I gotta go. Got stuff to do. Got people to call before it gets too late. I appreciate you hanging out. maybe I will post this. This is a long video, but I think there's some good content here. So, yeah, it's pretty good because it explains my story. So I like it. Anyway, I appreciate you. Thanks so much. Bye.